were killed, abused, children and women were raped. And then the other thing is the climate, which is also seriously changing due to a 12,000-year cycle. And also many witnesses said that I thought that it might never happen to me, it might happen to someone else, but not to me. And one beautiful day, a tornado or hurricane comes and destroying everything around. And the worst thing is that many people saw their kids dying. Can you imagine that? And it can happen to you or me at any moment. And I would like to take this moment and address these words to people out there who are watching us right now. Guys, friends, let's be honest and let's not play anymore. We are not kids, we are grown people. And I think that everybody understands, feels and sees what is going on right now. And I know that the truth is really hard and it's hard to accept the reality because our reality is really sad and shocking. But how can we change the world and the situation when we don't know what to change? And the worst thing is that this is all our fault. And many people will tell right now, how can it be our fault? I did nothing bad. But we were silent. We did not do nothing. We were inactive and we were so egoistic and just thought about ourselves. But, I have a question for you. Are you really so inhuman that you do not care that your children won't have any future? There were such strong words at the conference that every day of our inaction, every day when we do nothing, every day when we are silent, there are thousands of people who are dying because of this. And I just have a question for you. Are you ready to accept this? Are you ready to accept these consequences? But what is a good thing is that why we are making all these roundtables, all these discussions and all these conferences, that there is a solution, and that solution is so simple, and that's the creative society. And the creative society, just let me explain a few sentences what it is. It is the society where human life is the highest value, where there is a guarantee of tomorrow, and there is each person has the guarantee for the safety. And by changing the format of the society, by changing all those conditions, we can change everything. And this is so amazing because you understand that this is our chance, and it is the one and the only chance how for us, for humanity, how to survive all of this and how to build a completely different world. Because we are humans. In the end, we are humans. We are not animals. We are humans. We are people. And I bet that each of us want to live like humans. So I would just like to recommend you to watch the conference because there are so many important information. Then if you have the chance to share the information with everybody, but the most important thing right now is to talk and tell people, every single person on earth, about the creative society, because this is the most important thing. It's the first stage of building creative society, and actually it's something what we are actively doing right now. And whether we will succeed or not, it also depends on you and your choice, whether you will prolong to be silent and support all of that. Because when we are silent, that's the other way how to say, yes, I support this, what is going on. But you can also take the responsibility and start acting. Leslie said on the conference that the choice is between life and death. And if you want to live, and if you love your family, if you love your friends, your kids, and you want them to have a future, then come and join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monika, for sharing your understanding and your opinion about the forum. I totally agree with you that on the one hand, unfortunately, we have built the world a miserable world, a world of violence, a world of greed, a world of consumeristic format. and it is horrible with its reality. But on the other hand, there is a good news. Right now, we understand that there is a way out of these multiple horrible situations, and the solution is very simple. And we call it the creative society. However, many people are asking, where does that creative society begin? Many people still believe, unfortunately, and I want to mention about that some people believe that the creative society begins with the amendment, which is adopted, for example, by the government, or the law adopted by the parliament. However, it is not. Everything is much more simple, and the creative society begins here, right here, and here. When we make a decision to live and build a different world, the world where, like you mentioned, the highest value is the life of every human being. And as soon as we understand that, the things are going to start changing for the better very, very quickly. I'd like to ask right now, Anna. Anna, please share with us what information or what episode from the forum opened your eyes and helped you to understand something deeper. Share with us your opinion as well, please.
Herzlich willkommen, liebe Zuschauer. Konstantin,
welcome, dear viewers. Konstantin, you are totally right. We have forgotten our morals. I was very touched by the great injustice between people and division that we have done to each other. How can people become so inhuman? It's so sad that we act like this and push all this consumption, this wheel of consumption forward instead of slowing it down, instead of stopping it and finally looking at these human values. That was very touching for me when I translated the texts for the conference, which took place on May 7th, 2022. During the simultaneous interpreting, I also was impressed. It was very hard for me to understand how low we fall down. Only the pictures, the photos alone of refugees, of children who drink from a puddle of water. Would we really want such a future for our children? And, we look at it all as if it doesn't concern us. It doesn't correspond with humaneness. Where is humaneness in this world? I ask myself all the time. Of course, there are people with big hearts, as they say, but of course they would be constrained somehow, and they cannot do anything further. These borders by which we support in this world, they must be stopped. We should finally begin to become human beings and finally treat each other well. Thanks to the 8 foundations of the creative society, we can do it in the best way possible with the common goal of changing the entire world. Thank you very much.
Очень много тем, они показывают всю существующую абсурдность того потребительского формата.
Thank you very much, Anna. Really, this whole subject, this whole video showed the entire absurdity of the consumerist format of society which we are living in now. And one of the subjects which you have just touched upon is the subject of drinking water. It is so remarkable that there are people who die because they don't have a glass of drinking water, children who die because they don't have a glass of drinking water. And this happens at a time when we have everything we need so that no one on earth would need either water or food, and they would have a house with everything provided in it. How is this possible? Why in our consumer society we tolerate such criminal negligence and deliberate cruelty? And all this is based on our inaction if we do not change the consumerist format into creative one. Now let's watch it all together and excerpt from the forum We Are People We Want to Live. It's a video dedicated to the subject of water.
The world is already divided into those who are desperately short of water and those who still have it. According to UN data, humanity needs to wake up to the looming water crisis. And this is despite the fact that nowadays we know how to extract water even from the air and even in the most arid region. Water from fog. In one of the world's largest capitals, Lima, located in the desert, fog is collected in huge nets and used to produce drinking water. Morocco has one of the largest plants, which produces up to 6,000 liters of drinking water a day from the fog. Its operation costs practically nothing and does not require external energy. Water from the air. Atmospheric water generators allow you to extract up to 3,000 liters of drinking water per day, and it can be increased up to 1 million liters. Can be mobile and stationary. They can operate from any energy source and in any climate, even in the arid desert, are used for the needs of the military in some countries and well proven in emergency situations. For example, in 2010, after the Haiti earthquake, the generator produced thousands of gallons of clean water for drinking, wound washing, and surgery. Do you agree to die of thirst in the presence of such modern technology? Water desalination units. Worldwide, about 16,000 desalination plants purify ocean water from salt and turn it into fresh water. They can produce millions of gallons of fresh water a day and supply 300 million people. Innovative developments already allow desalination plants to be environmentally friendly, work even on the energy of ocean waves, and not to harm the ocean. In the water, they can retain the minerals needed for irrigation of fields and extract minerals from the remaining brine. This is ultimate cynicism and cruelty. When millions of people die of thirst in countries located on the ocean coasts, while such technologies are available. And this is the essence of the consumerist format of the society in which we live. Water retreatment. The technology has passed many tests. The water is safe even for drinking, and its quality exceeds World Health Organization standards. Meanwhile, every 2 minutes, one child dies from a disease related to contaminated water. 2 billion people in the world use drinking water sources that are contaminated with feces. By 2025, half of the world's population will live in areas with water scarcity. In just 3 years, it will be every second person. Actually, we don't have even these 3 years. Due to climate change, the situation on the planet is changing rapidly every day. And trouble comes where no one was expecting it. So, what will you personally choose? To die of thirst? Or to drink fecal water? That's the choice which you have in a consumer society. Nowadays, humanity has all the necessary technologies to provide water to drink for everyone. But in the consumerist format, trillions are spent to kill people, and saving our lives is way too expensive. By our inaction, we support this cruel, dead-end, and absurd format of the consumer society. The format in which these problems will never be solved, because our survival for the consumer society means earnings. Nowadays, profit is more important than our lives, and our deaths are just dry figures. The only way out is to change the format. The most important thing you can do now to save your life, the lives of your loved ones, and all people on the planet, is to join in informing about the creative society, because only by changing the format of society will we be able to prioritize the value of human life. We will introduce advanced technology everywhere and guarantee the protection of every person's life. Act now. Inform about the creative society.
And unfortunately, that's the world we're living in. The question that I'd like to raise right now for the discussion and address to our today's speakers: how come that today in the world with so many advanced technology, there is still an absurdity that on the one hand, some people are enjoying full spectrum of technologies, clean water, warm housing, but on the other part of the world, we have people suffering and having nothing, even clean water in their houses, which is so much vital, important for every person to live in the world. What is your opinion about this, Monika? Can you answer this question first, please?
Thank you so much, Konstantin. Well, I would say welcome to the consumerist format of society, which is, paradox, as you said, that and that was also portrayed in the video, that we have already today technologies that they can provide water to every person on earth, but every day there are thousands of children and people who are dying because of lack of water. And the worst thing is that it's all because human life in this format of society has no value. And the saying, money makes the world go round, and that's indeed true. It's profit for some people is more valuable than human's life, and it shouldn't be like that.
Thank you, Monika. Indeed, we also participated together with our team when we participated in the preparations for the forum. We talked to scientific experts, researchers from various fields. They also shared that there are technologies which are safe for the environment. There are technologies that can minimize our impact. For example, if we take agriculture, it's already in such a form which exists at its utmost, not from the environmental and other aspect, but it can no longer cope with the challenges. Indeed, there are technologies such as vertical farms, which are available everywhere on Earth, regardless of whether it is the Arctic or the desert. Vertical farms can solve the problems of food supplies. It's a known fact, but it's unprofitable for the existing institutions. So these very vertical farms, without using any pesticides, produce absolutely organic products, which would enable us to feed everyone and to solve the very problem of what leads people to hunger. Not like in the consumer society where funds are allocated to simulate a solution of problems as a consequence. I mean, we allocate money to solve some consequence, but we do not solve the very essence of the problem, so that more and more money is allocated to this fighting against the consequence. This is really a working mechanism to make money. Actually, we have the technology of 3D printing of organs, but we still have millions of people dying because they cannot get necessary organs quickly and on time for transplantation. But this technology does exist, and it can already be used. It already exists in our society, but it is still being pushed back. It is becoming very expensive, or it is not demanded. Again, we should understand that the technology is available. If we as society say, yes, it is our priority, we want to preserve our human lives, all people's lives, without ranking to any groups or classes, without artificial divisions. We are people, we want to live, we have water extraction technologies, food extraction technologies, we can produce quality body organs, for example. But why don't we have this now in society? Because there is no priority of the value of human life. And this very understanding that it's not that we don't have it or don't know how to live well. We're all people. We all feel how to live by conscience. We all know what is good for us as people. We all know how to live a life in peace and harmony, without any poverty, without wars or hunger. But each of us wants that. Each of us feels it. But we are kind of, bump into a kind of a system, a kind of machine where everyone says, how come it's all so big and I'm so small? How can I influence it? How can I influence my close relative, for example, who is sick, to get what he needs? Or how can I feed the children? The answer is yes, you can. Here, each of us is a participant in the entire society. We are a unit of it, but all of us together. If each of us declares our desire to live in the creative society, to live in a human way, to live with the priority of human life, then it is possible. It is realistic and totally easy. If each of us says, I want to live in the creative society. Now I would like to also ask Anna, could you please share? You probably faced in your work or in your life some examples of technologies which might be demanded in the creative society. Yes, as you said, people act mostly for profit, for benefit, and that's how the entire world is arranged. All people strive to, stock their pockets and disregard the value of every life. During my work, I can see that people are blinded and they see only money. Machines, they play are pure happiness for them. It's difficult for me even to imagine that people in this world see only money and do not notice how much money they lose when they gamble on a daily basis. It's just unbelievable. But that's not the point. Politics in every country is not economical either. For example, in Germany alone, we are forced to throw about 12 million tons of food every year because of expiration date. But we could have thought ahead and give this food to the needy people so that they don't have to pick up from the trash cans. We could have think economically and ahead of time and take care of people. Now, about $14 trillion are spent on conflicts, military conflicts, where we face problems every day because we disagree and Everyone has their own ideology. This brings us down totally, and we spend so much money on some consumerist institutions and organizations. These funds are taken from our taxes, but it all leads to nothing. Out of this money and out of this time, at least something wonderful should be created. Every person should be saved. And surely all this is quite possible. But we must be vigilant. And as I say, not be like gamblers in gambling houses and casinos. People are blinded, they don't see it, they don't want to see it because we live in such a world. Unfortunately, that's the consumerist society is all about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna, for sharing your opinion. You have rightly mentioned about the food, and that's true that today about 2.5 million tons of food are wasted every day and not getting to the shelves of the supermarket, which is insane, actually. If we divide that amount of food between those people who need it, that will be approximately 3.5 kilograms per person. And we know that approximately over 800 million of people go to bed hungry. Katarína, the next question I'd like to address to you, why people, we know, I would like just to make a short introduction, we know that we do have technologies. We know we have technologies how to make up clean water from the air or from the ocean. We have technologies which enable us to produce more than enough of food for everyone. We have technologies to produce more than enough of clothes to everyone. But still, from your point of view, why people are holding so tight for the consumerist format instead of start building the creative format actively?
Ďakujem za slovo. Mňa sa tiež dotkol
Thank you so much for your word. I was also touched by this video about water, so I also started looking for more information about the water. I would also like to share it with you. We know that without water, we can survive a maximum 5 days. Maximum just even 9 days, and then body dies. And what do we see? Exactly, we see that in a consumer society, we know that technologies exist, and we keep them. We still don't produce water for every single person in the world. I live in the country where we have enough drinking water. It is difficult for many in the world to understand that we even use drinking water in toilets, fill swimming pools, use it in the bathroom, water grass with it. I do not criticize or complain about this. I just want to point out that every person in the world should have such access to drinking water, because it is impossible to live without water. And we know that such technologies exist, as it was said in the video we just watched. In my country, as I said, there is enough water, but its price is rising every year. And now or tomorrow it may happen that water will become a luxury resource for us. But water is our right. Water should not be a luxury commodity. Every person should have access to water and a sufficient amount of clean water. As has been said, no one in our society cares about our lives. And no one, no country, no government in the world, no organization or group will save us. I remember what eyewitnesses said on the forum. No one helped them. So now I come back to the answer why we still have this consumer format of society. Maybe people don't know that we have another option, that only we can change the format of society. So when we understand that no one will solve our problems for us, Let's stop waiting for someone to come. And it's really time for us to help ourselves by uniting. And we should stop supporting the consumer format of society that actually kills us. We should focus our attention on a creative format of society that will give us a better life. And as it was said in the video, it will give us enough of water and food for every single person in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarína. This is really a very important insight, and there are only 2% of the world drinking water, and we often forget about that. That the water which we have, it is extremely valuable, and it belongs to all people. All the resources on the planet belong to all people equally. Now I would like to ask Joseph a question. Could you please tell us, why do you think that in the consumer society, technologies that could have served benefit for people's benefit, they are not in demand to the extent that they could really solve those problems? Why is such a situation?
Danke nochmal. Ja, warum?
Thanks again. Right. So, why is that? Because everything is aimed at profit. In the consumer society, everything is aimed at profit. There are several problems in the world. A lot of organizations and still are growing. There are so many organizations for one, for another, for the third problem. Every new catastrophe, every new problem generates a new organization. And all this profit simply arises out of these problems. The more hunger we have, the more money goes into the pockets of various organizations. The less drinking water we have in any part of the world, the more money goes into the pockets of these organizations. And I saw this on the forum and also on the video today again, and there are just 4 possible technologies you mentioned here. So this is, hopefully, I think there are more technologies concerning water. This technology is fascinating. It is so wonderful. 2 or 3 of them are so simple that you can just, build them without a big investment. And they collect not 1 or 2 liters of water a day, it's much more, it's thousands of liters of water a day. And it is terrible to see that with so much technology, with so much valuable water, children are dying, and every 2 minutes a child dies of thirst or disease because they don't have that water to drink. So this is terrible. And we're watching all of this. We're watching and yet we are silent. So we have agreed to that. And that, scares me. Because I realized that I too was one of those people who supported all of this because I kept silent. And, I didn't want to say anything. And from that day forward, I made the decision to speak up and tell the truth. I'm glad to be able to share information. About the creative society with the whole world, about the situations that we have built ourselves. We are almost 8 billion. We have allowed psychopaths to lead us, those who don't deserve to be above billions. We have allowed this. And I know that the creative society is the only way out, the only way to save us all. All other ways lead to annihilation. We will be destroyed by the atomic bomb or by natural disasters. It is totally unsafe in this society, in the consumer society. In the creative society, we have to stick together and see human beings as human beings. The greatest value on this earth, see the human being not for profit, not for money, just to see the human being, to be human, to live in love. Let's just love. And we can do everything. We have built such incredible technology. I was so happy, like about 3D printers for organs. I was so happy. That was, that's so great. And then I realized, yes, but how can a 3D printer come into the world so that we all have access to these 3D printers? That we can do it, So that we don't have to wait for 5 years for an organ and die in the waiting room or in this queue because it's all about profit again. So how is it possible that criminals and psychopaths can make money on our organs, on our children's organs? That is terrible. And with such technology that we built, we humans, we are great, we are super. We have so many scientists, we are smart, we can build technology that can protect our Earth. It can also balance the Earth's core. We can do that. This is not a problem, but only all together and only in the creative society. In this society, in consumer society, it will not work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Josip, for sharing your opinion. Right now, as a society, we're facing quite a big range of problems, and these problems have become not local already. They become global. Today, during today's international discussion, we have touched upon just a small range of these problems that we're facing right now, and that's in the face of approaching climate change, like, for example, Monika mentioned today. And the solution to these very problems, they require the unification of entire civilizations. Monika, from your point of view, what it means, unification of entire humanity in practice? Share with us, please.
Thank you so much. I think that many people misunderstood this term, unification, because many people think that it's some kind of, material unification, that we have to share our houses, like fridges, cars, and we have to hold hands together. But it is not like that. We are already uniting, and the great example is we people who are participants of the Creative Society projects, because we are united by the idea of the creative society and by this inner drive to live. And I think this is so important, because unification is the only way how can we achieve something. And when we have this one goal, and when we are for 100% aware of what we want, and all people want it, then it is so easy to build such a society. We just have to say that, yes, I want to live in the creative society. And I would like to share one story. Recently, I was reading one play. It's called Waiting for Godot. And it is about two men who basically do nothing, and they are waiting for one person, which is called Godot. And they believe that this person will change their life, that everything is going to be amazing then, and it's some kind of hope for them. And every person might interpret it differently, but for me it was amazing association for what is going on right now, that people are waiting for some person to come and change whole situation. But friends, no one is coming and no one will be coming. And once you understand that it is all in our hands and that we are responsible for all of this, you cannot just sit and watch what is going on in front of you, like all the bad things that are happening in front of eyes. You cannot just be silent and sit and do nothing. And once you understand that everything is in our hands and this is our responsibility, and I would say it is our duty to build such a world, then you start acting. And taking responsibility, it might be stressful for some people, but it is not. It brings so much joy, and you can meet people all around the globe, and you are realizing that we are all humans, and that's what unites us, that we are all humans, and we all want the same. We all want love, we all want peace, we all want dignified conditions, and in the end, you are realizing that we are indeed one big family. And I think that this is also the unification, that we are one big family. And when we are united, trust me, we are capable of such things we can't even think of. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a great association. Katarína, I would also like to turn to you and ask you a question. Why do you think the unification we are talking about now is very important? How do you envision it in practice? I mean, really, what is unification? What does it look like in your opinion?
Thank you so much. Yes, when we talk to people about a creative society, so many people don't understand what unification is. They don't understand, as Monika said, on which basis are we going to unite. And we want to unite on the idea of a better future for all of us, on the idea of the creative society. And I would also like to share with you my experience and my understanding. A few days ago, we took an interview with the director of the Slovak Olympic community here in Slovakia and talked about the unifying idea of the Olympic Committee of the Olympians. And thanks to that, I understood that we know what unification is. Each of us knows what unification on the idea, maybe on a small scale. Athletes unite on the idea of winning a match. Teams of schools or researchers unite on the idea of finding a solution or solving some problem. Each of us definitely is a part of a team that aimed to find a solution or win. So we all know what unification is about. And now let's imagine that this team also includes different people, different nationalities that don't even have to sit in one place. They sit in different parts of the world. They have different religions, different social statuses, and yet when they solve a problem, they have one goal: to find a solution. Sports teams to win, and that can unite us. We are different. We live on different continents. We have different social statuses, religions, but we all want a better future. So that's what can unite us. And that's what gives us a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katarína, for sharing your opinion. The creative society is a society which is beneficial for everyone. That's obvious. And that's the society which is going to make everyone happy and is going to make everyone enjoy the life. Anna, the next question I'd like to address to you. From your point of view, what are the most obvious benefits of the creative society from your opinion? Share with us, please.
So wie ich das sehe, Konstantin, wir leben in einem Stockholm-Syndrom.
The way I see it, Konstantin, we live under Stockholm Syndrome. And many people, actually a huge number of people on this planet Earth, are terribly afraid to face anything new, to experience anything new. We kind of live in a bubble, and we are afraid to get out of this bubble. People are afraid, but within the bubble, they somehow provided, and then suddenly in this bubble, a little slit forms, which is the creative society. If you have enough courage and interest, you can do something for yourself, something good for your family, for the future. You just open this slit and go out into freedom. That's all we can do. The creative society is really the only solution, an absolute solution for the entire humanity, all together, hand in hand, with love and humanity. And it's so simple. Thank you very much. Thank you. Indeed, it's such a great happiness and pleasure when you feel that you are a part of the team of people who are on the same wave with you, that you want the same thing. After all, each of us wants to live in a happy, safe, and a prosperous world. Josip, I would like to ask you, what do you think is necessary for the creative society to come true already now?
We should have built the creative society yesterday, because we are divided in every possible way, every possible thing. For instance, let's start from small simple things like soccer or any game, to big things like religions, countries, or skin color. We are divided in everything. And the only thing we need to do, it is very important that we work together, save the earth. How do we do that? By informing. The first stage that is relevant now, that is going on right now, it is the hardest stage, and it's very difficult to get the word out to people, to every person on the planet. But I think that every one of us, of 8 billion people, we know about the creative society. We inform people through all media, Facebook and all other media. It is very important to inform other people, because if one doesn't know that the creative society exists, without this information, one doesn't understand what it is. So how can we avoid destruction? Why is climate change happening? Because our greatest enemy is the climate. People don't know how can we do it. We make an effort to inform people every way. Sometimes people don't have Facebook or Instagram or whatever, who don't have the internet, and people are talking by word of mouth, putting posters on the walls and all that. There's much enthusiasm. It's such a blessing to stick together, to do something together. You can just start with yourself. We are talking here now. Some of us have seen each other for the first time. We are having such a beautiful conversation right now that I could sit here, all day, because it's so beautiful. Let's love each other. Let's meet as friends, as billions of friends. We're going to make it work 100%. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear friends, for sharing your opinions today and answering our questions. Coming up closer to the conclusion, I'd like to say that if you would like also to participate in the international discussion as we are having right now with our dear friends, dear participants of the Creative Society project, you are more than welcome to send us email to info@creativesociety.com. And if you still feel uneasy whether to send us email or not, I encourage you to do that, because the questions that we have discussed briefly today, and they were much more deeper, discussed and shown at the International Online Forum, which took place on the 7th of May, We Are People, We Want to Live. We need to understand that all the problems that we're facing right now, these are not someone's problems. These are our problem. Because we're living in the world which has become very, very small. Very, very small. And everything is interconnected. And if we want to start cleaning up in our home, we need first of all to make a general cleaning in our heads. We need to stop thinking in the consumeristic way of thinking, having the categories in our conversation, I, my, for me, it's mine, but start thinking in the categories of creative thinking when we are using the categories as we, because truly we have one place of living, which is our earth, and we all share the same value, which is life. That's why if you are feeling to contribute to the Creative Societies and become an active participant of the Creative Society, let's begin with a simple. Go to the official website, which is creativesociety.com, and send us email expressing your willingness to participate in the discussion with like-minded people like we have today in our conversation from other countries who are also willing to make a better future for all of us together. Dear friends, I truly honored to be with you today, listen to your answers, and I am very much thankful to you for contributing to building the Creative Society, the society that all of us are going to enjoy. Thank you very much for today's participation, and I'm very much hoping to see you in the next international discussions with other people from other countries. Thank you. Anna, would like you to add something.
Yes, thank you very much, dear viewers. I just wanted to say one thing. Remember that we are people. We want to live hand in hand all together. We want to make the Earth and our planet, our future, truly wonderful for our children. Thank you so much to the Creative Society project. I'm thankful, I'm grateful to be with you. It's a great honor. Thank you. I also wanted to thank you all, friends. It is so sincere, heartfelt, such a heartfelt, sincere communication. And Creative Society seems to be such a great, awesome goal, but it is so easily achievable just with one touch. If each of us expresses it, if each of us becomes the embodiment of the Creative Society, then it will come very, very soon. I know it will. And I'm grateful to everyone who participates, who talks about the Creative Society, because informing about the Creative Society is really important right now. And it's also very gratifying, because it's a great joy to carry out the glad tidings. Thank you very much.